Hello YouTube. So it's been a while since I've made a video, but I just recently got this really cool little drone and I wanted to make a video for you guys. This video is courtesy of Banggood. They're the ones that sent me this. They wanted me to take a look at it and give it an unbiased and fair review. I want to again thank you all for always being supporters and for clicking on my video, hitting that like button, subscribing, getting started. What I have here I'm pretty excited about. It's probably one of the most high-end drones that I've ever gotten a chance to play with. Alright, so in the box you're going to get a lot of stuff. First of all, you're going to get some extra stands for the stack. So in the stack in there is pretty crafty and really well done. I'm going to show you guys a little bit later. But you get an extra one of those in case the one that you have breaks. You get your prop guards, which are going to be really nice if you're going to have to fly indoors or if you're just learning. Because this is a very powerful drone, so you're going to want to use these while you're learning at least. So you get 4 of those to go with that. They come in blue and in white. I got the white version with mine. I think it looks pretty slick. I'll show you guys a little more. You get a few extra little pieces of the trim, and these, some of it are there for protection of the critical parts. Others I think are just a little bit of flair. So you get an extra little back piece, you get a couple of extra side pieces for the canopy over here, and then a couple of little holders for the wiring, and I'll show you guys again. And you get a lot of extra screws for, again, all of the different components that you need to screw. So some of them for the motors, some of them for the props, and some of them for the actual frame pieces, just in case any of those come loose, break, or you lose them. And you also get an extra XT30 component for your battery connection. And the battery connection itself is also done really well on this, and I'll show you guys. Lastly, you get some extra zip ties, and I think these are just for if you need to secure the antennas or something comes loose and you need to quickly secure it. You get a few of these. They're nice to have, but I don't think they actually are needed anywhere, but they're there, so why not? You get a couple of battery straps, or at least that's what I'm going to use them for. They're really thick, heavy-duty rubber bands. So I think if you... And you get some stickers. Now for the really good stuff, which is the drone itself. Now this thing is pretty awesome. Like you see, it comes in this box. The box is tiny. When I got this in the mail, I honestly did not believe that this was going to be the box that that carried the drone, because when I got some of my other drones, including something like the B-Whoop, which is a bit smaller by comparison if you look at them both. When I got this came in a box that was probably about twice the size of this. How much it really does feel like a premium product. Like, I feel like this box, like when I got it, I really kind of felt like I was getting like an Apple product or that type of thing. So Diatone really did an amazing job with this drone. So just so you know, as you can see here, these are all of the stats. So this is called the 2018 GT-R90. And the 90 refers to the motor distance between the motors, which is 90 millimeters. So a pretty slick drone. It comes with an F4 controller. It runs Betaflight right off the bat with an up to 32 hertz loop. It's got a 5 volt, 1.5 amp BEC for any of your needs. I think it's already used for the camera and for the transmitter. But if you need to run something different, you know that you can, because that's a pretty nice BEC. You also get your a 30 amp probable BEC for your current meter for your XT30 connector for your XT30 batteries. And what's cool is that because this is constructed, this is going to give you the current reading right on your OSD when you're flying out there. So that's actually really pretty impressive. Normally, you just get the current reader from the ESCs, but this, you're getting it straight from the battery. So I assume it's going to be a bit more accurate than the one you would get from the BEC going through that flight. From the ESCs going through the flight controller. The other really cool thing is it comes with a TBS Unify transmitter, which you can see all the way down there in the stack. It's a little bit hard to see, but at the third one down there at the bottom is the TBS Unify, which, as you know, most of the pros, that's what they're kind of running on their quads. Not everybody, but a big segment of the population runs that transmitter, because frankly it just works. You know, I think like I said, you'll see it on pretty much everybody's videos, from Steele to other folks like Joshua Bardwell and others. That they really seem to appreciate the TBS Unify and all the stuff that TBS really does. Their video transmitter VTX is probably, you know, one of the best, if not the best, out there. So this comes with it. It's switchable from 25 all the way up to 800 milliwatts, which is crazy. So you'll get a lot of distance from this. I don't know how much you'll get just with this little dipole, but I'm assuming that with that much power, you know, it's not going to be an issue. And the reality is that something like this small, you're not going to fly too far anyway. So I'm pretty excited. This thing's already set up to be a beast just looking at the stats. And again, one of the most impressive things is that you can see right there, and I hope you can read that, is that this supports up to a 4S LiPo. That is crazy. This is just on another level in terms of power by what that can do. These motors are incredible. These are some of the coolest motors I've seen. You can tell Diatone spent a lot of time on. They're 600 kV 1104 motors, and they are capable of taking the power from a 4S battery. So it can take those 14 amps like nothing. From what I've been seeing on other videos, I'm so excited about it. I just can't wait to fly it, because it really seems like, from everybody that I've been listening to, this thing just roars. So I'm pretty excited. Let's see, what else can I talk about? One of the things that I was most excited about when this came out was that camera. So normally, as you guys know, you get your little CMOS cameras that don't really work that well on the low light transitions, and you know, most of them are that little CMOS. They're not great. They have a lot of noise. This here is a CCD Sony sensor Super Hat 2 camera, and it's been miniaturized. As you guys know, usually these are the bigger, chunkier cameras, and this one's miniaturized so that it can fit on a drone this size. So, given how good the reputation is on this camera, I have a feeling that it's gonna be great. I can't wait to try it on 4S. I'm a little bit scared because I've not flown anything this size on 4S. A little bit of a trepidation that it's gonna just fly away or fly through the roof or fly through a car door or something with that much power. But I'm gonna test it out. In the second part of the video, you're gonna see some flights. Probably gonna do some flights first with 3S, and then see what retuning it needs to do to fly with 4S. But this thing is, again, looking incredible. It already comes all neatly installed. As you can see, this thing is like done professionally. That right there is, I believe, a 3 millimeter wide piece of carbon, so it's gonna be strong. I mean, I don't see how something this small and with this weight you're gonna be able to really damage just by flying. So again, I'm just excited. Look how good that solder is. I mean, that's that's premium quality. It's shiny. It's like mirror shine. I don't think I've ever soldered anything that good, to be honest. And I've been doing this hobby for years now. So just looking at this, it just, again, it feels premium. You can tell that it's going to be really good. This carbon up here, which actually, yeah, I mean, it does look like carbon. It is solid black. Normally, if it were carbon on top of fiberglass, you'll see some white in the middle. That's solid. So you got your carbon over here protecting your stack. The stack is done in a really clever way, like I mentioned before. It is done through this a 3D printed piece, which is slightly flexible but sturdy. And each of the flight controller studs are mounted on a tiny little vibration dampening grommet. So it means that it's going to absorb some of the vibration as you're flying, which is going to keep the gyros more stable, which is going to help with your tuning, and it's going to help with any vibrations that you might be getting in terms of the noise to the flight controller. Connection for your beta flight is right out here, so nothing gets in the way. I mean, a lot of the time, with a lot of these, it's tricky to plug it in because they hide that, or it's stacked in a way that it's at 45 degrees and you can't actually plug in without taking off the props. This isn't an issue with this. I mean, even if you compare it to something like my old QX90, which is a brushed quad, you can see the plug is for your USB is back here and hidden behind the lights, the LEDs. So to get to it, you have to unplug the LEDs or take them off just to get to it. I remember flying this and thinking it was the greatest thing ever, and not having any issues with it at all in terms of how it flew and the power and all that. And now we have something like this, which is just so many generations ahead. and really, it's only been maybe like 2 years or a year and a half since something like this came out. So this is extremely impressive. Now, to keep going with some of the features, and I know I'm talking about this one a lot before you get to see it fly, but really, I've not been impressed with a quad as much as this one in a very long time. I mean, I was super impressed, again, like I mentioned, with the tiny B-Whoop, because it's so small, you can fly it indoors, and it's powerful and all that. But this, I'm not talking about this right now. I just wanted to show you, because in terms of like comparison in size, comparison in power, this thing like stands to be just leagues and leagues ahead of anything else I'm showing you. And something like this might be fun and impressive in terms of like its ability to move the needle and take us in a direction. But like I mentioned, even with like the USB port right there, if you want to plug in, you have to make sure that you're not breaking this. A normal USB won't actually fit there because it's too small. You don't have a problem with this one. This just comes like this. It comes in a way that everything is accessible. In fact, even if you needed to resolder any of these points, like they're right there. You don't need to take the stack down. That I think, yeah, it's just super valuable. If you need to do any repairs, you can kind of see anything that might be the issue right away. It's all there for you and easy for you to fix. So just super impressed. I believe this little guy right here is going to be the plug for your receiver. I haven't confirmed that because I haven't looked at the... Yeah, it is. So I don't know if you can see right there, but it tells you PPM, bus, and it's a 5 volt, I believe. So it even comes ready for you to just plug in to an XRV or another. I fly FR Sky, so that's what I'm going to be using, some FR Sky protocol stuff. Maybe even plug it into something fancier if I can scrounge one up. I have a bunch of different receivers that I've been itching to use, and I think this one's going to take the cake in terms of getting whatever is the most premium that I can add to it, because this is, again, already a very premium quad, and I want to make sure that I'm getting the absolute most out of it. So like I was mentioning, everything is very well stacked. You can see how everything's plugged in. There's so little wasted space. I love that. The camera is very well protected. Like you can see, you can't actually see the lens. So if you were to crash, anything flat will not hit the camera. So like you can see, my finger doesn't touch it. You will have a problem if you crash with something head on, but again, if you manage to be that skillfully unlucky, then that's kind of on you. It comes with the battery strap pre-installed like this, but it does not come with the little friction pad down here for your camera that you have to install on your own, which I did. I chose to keep the centerpiece. You can take it off to save yourself a little bit of weight, but I chose to keep it just to add a little bit more padding. I think the weight is so negligible with something this powerful. The wires are so neatly organized. Like I mentioned, not only is the soldering top notch, but you got these little tiny holders for the wires. I mean, they really did think of everything. I can't stress enough how impressed I am with Diatone and how like thoughtful they've been with this whole thing. I mean, they've been in the game for a very long time. I've always loved their product, but when they do something like this, it just, hats off to you guys. It's impressive where you're taking the hobby and what you're able to do, having the real thought and people that seem to really care about how this all gets put together and what it means for their company. So I'm just thankful that I was able to get a hold of one, and I'm looking forward to flying it for you guys. So I'm going to end the video with this. If you have any questions about the quad, details, anything I forgot to mention, please leave it in the comments. I'm happy to answer as many questions as you have, as always. And thank you again for watching this whole thing. I really want to make sure that you guys know that I appreciate you. And do read your comments. I do comment back. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer everything. I'm looking forward to giving you guys also the flight video, which will be part 2. I'll link it in the description as soon as it's up. But if you want to see it as soon as it gets put up, please make sure to subscribe. Click on that notification button so that you see my videos when they come up, and you'll see how this all goes. I'll even show you in that other video what receiver I end up going with and how I install it, because I'm going to try to keep as much as I can that sleek profile. I'm going to try to find a way, if there's a way to install the receiver up here and then just have the antenna come out through this little back holder so that they're out of the way of the props, and I get good reception at a distance. In any case, thank you again for watching. I want to thank Banggood.com again for sending me this. They're the ones that are making this video possible. Without you and without their support, I would not be able to make it.